Good evening. Thank you everyone for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started at 6 o'clock on February 10th. We'll call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. We'll start first with a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Questions or additions to the agenda? Okay. All those in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to committee reports by board members. We'll start with a curriculum coordinating council. Trustee chairs or trustee Steinbach? We made eye contact, so it's you.
I went to that. We had a great meeting. We met and we approved bringing forward 3 classes, I believe. I need to go to my, but bringing forward 3 classes. Those, I was just speaking with Trustee Goulart, and the classes are going to be available. Correct me if I'm wrong. However, it will depend on if we can work them into the schedule with the way that the teachers' teaching load is. And so, except for the math is going to be in the schedule, but we don't know if we'll offer that. And I'm sure that Mr. Derby will answer some more questions about that. So that's
Great.
about it.
Thank you. All right, salary relations. Anyone want to report on salary relations? It was Trustee Strampy's first time. Maybe we should make her do it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It was enough for you to spend all day, right? Trustee chairs or Trustee Goulart? Want to arm wrestle? What do you want to do?
I don't know how much we can really report yet. It is a work in progress. So it was our second meeting of 3 or 4 or 5 or however many it takes to get the work done. So I don't know that there's a whole lot to report on salary relations yet.
It was a good turnout in the first non-money meeting, which is supposed to be less pressure, which is good. The next one is District Policy Committee. Trustee Sharp, I see you jumping to hit your microphone.
Anyway, yes, policy committee, Sarah and I were there. Chris was unable to make it. We had 3 policies that were reviewed. 2 of them are coming back to the board for second reading. One of them is coming for a first reading. They were all in our packets and we'll be discussing them as we go.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
DAC. Someone want to report on DAC?
Okay, we had our very first student-initiated club application, and that was by Club America, and it was unanimously approved. We discussed middle school soccer, and we got a full schedule of games coming up. We also discussed girls middle school wrestling. Sounds like we have like 24 girls in the program, approximately, pretty much evenly spread out between all the schools as far as the girls. I believe there's 17 teams in the middle school that in the scheduling that they will be able to compete against. Let's see, we discussed the Sportsmanship Summit. Trying to figure out getting some committees together for different areas, you know, PR, t-shirts, getting programs together, some speakers, district support, trying to figure out a date. Also who to focus on getting in them to the summit. We discussed just the athletes or the entire student body, possibly even some parents. And also about getting some help, maybe even getting some board members to participate and support the program as they have it get going this year. Again, they need lots of people and lots of volunteers because it's a big project to do. We discussed junior high and middle school, kind of the lack of some officials. Hard to get enough people to do the officiating. And I did ask about the program that we had available for students to learn about or learn to do officiating. But so far, we haven't had anybody take us up on that chance to do so. So.
Trustee Alexander, with the Sportsmanship Symposium, is DAC taking on the lead of putting that on, or you're establishing a committee to do so?
No, it's basically well, I'm going to say probably Gabe and Coach English, Mr. Van Tilburg. They're basically heading it, but they're the ones that are going to look at getting committees set up and getting volunteers to do those committees.
Okay.
To get out there and help them so that they're not carrying the full load.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm.
Public comment. I don't have any slips, so I'm assuming no one's up for public comment. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Go ahead and point you to page 7 and regarding the Wyoming Community Foundation donation. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm actually still connecting to the team's website to get on and be able to project the enrollment numbers. So you can see in the after prom donation, we were very fortunate to receive that sizable donation, which will assist that program. Also on page 8, one of the new items that I will be including from Ramona and the food service team are the local meat that is donated to food service for the program of Farm to School. And so we're very appreciative of all that that is going to those options and opportunities for those meals that we're having that incorporate a lot of that. So that is just one of the great things that we have going and really encourage that opportunity.
Can I put a plug in real quick for that?
Please do while I'm trying to connect here.
I just want to remind everyone how easy it is to make these donations. You literally call Bear Mountain Beef and you tell them you've got an animal and they take it from there. They will call Ramona and ask, what cuts she needs or how she wants it packaged and so forth. It's very, very simple. As long as the school district has the funds for the processing, the school district pays for the processing. And so although the donations are greatly appreciated, the school district picks it up and takes it from there. So you get the animal there and then it goes into the school district. It's an incredible program. I just want to remind everyone because I think that it's easily forgotten. But in this community where we are farm and ranch, just remind you that it's a great thing to donate to if you can.
Chair Mueller.
Yes.
Just real quick on the processing. We've been fortunate to receive a grant that pays for 50% of that processing. So that's even better for the district.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump back up to the 25-26 student enrollment numbers, and they are projected now on there. You can see that we, as I scroll down to the bottom for our total, last month, December, the previous month, was on the far right. And at that month, we had 1,562 students, and in January had 1,569. So it's encouraged to see that ADM increasing in a comparative amount to the previous year, which was 1,579. We're getting awfully close to getting into a break-even point. So that is an encouraging sign for the amount of students. Also, just want to kind of take a moment and cover the review from last Wednesday's meeting with our local legislators. We thought it was a very productive session. I really find it encouraging when we can do a face-to-face dialogue, and it cuts through the noise of some of that things that can pop up either through email or anything like that. I did appreciate that discussion was rooted in Wyoming's actual data. and that whoever, rather than sometimes whatever shows up on YouTube or explainers about national issues, we were able to focus on our district's issues. And I thought the legislators stayed focused on our local context, which was very helpful. To give you an update on yesterday and today, the recalibration bill that was brought to the House was narrowly defeated on the required 2/3 vote to go to committee. The Senate version of the bill will be discussed, most likely what I'm hearing is tomorrow. And if it would be approved, that would go to committee for some more work. I have heard that they are looking at a number of amendments. Hopefully that would be beneficial. The bottom line right now, as that bill is currently written, it would result in funding reductions for Goshen County schools. Now, how severe those cuts will certainly be determined by the discussion in the Senate. I think one of the core issues for me is that the legislators' choice of who conducted that recalibration work and identified that the basket of goods that they outlined would actually cost $80 million more than the legislature has put in. And so I think I find it very interesting that the group that was hired by the legislature to do the study, and then they are kind of dismissing what that cost of the basket of goods is. It does look like I said, the Senate will take up the bill tomorrow and refer it to committee if passed. So I would encourage you to stay updated on that. And if you have questions as it goes to committee, I will probably keep the board updated. And also we'll try to keep updates going on the weekly radio show on Thursday morning also. But some encouraging news from the work down there on some of the recent legislation. It is a budget year, but it seems to be a very heavy bill year in addition to the budget year, which is kind of odd for them, but some good outcomes as some bills are not moving on to committee that were concerning. There are some bills that are out there that are on the horizon, one in which, and Kevin, do you happen to remember the number of the bill for the K-3 language arts? The K-12. Do you remember the number of that?
Senate File 59.
Yes, thank you. So Senate File 59, you may want to keep updated on. The reason that is a really important one is not necessarily for the language that's in there. We as a district actually exceed already what they are looking to do for the state in regards to literacy instruction, regarding some of our benchmark assessments, screeners, and all those. So it would not be a difficult lift for us at all to attain what's in that legislation. The problem becomes that if it's legislated in Wyoming, our funding stream, which is federal, we would no longer be able to use that funding to pay for those screeners, and the cost for those screeners, because there is no attached funding to this bill, would have to go back to the general fund. So right now we're exceeding the bill. We're doing what we need to do as a district. And because of the work that would result in some other things for other districts, we would be punished by having to then use our general fund to support those screeners and the cost that we're already utilizing federal funds for. So that is a big concern for me in regards to that bill. Like I said, not necessarily the language that's in there. I think many of the things that are in there we would agree with, obviously, since we're exceeding those instructional expectations, but the funding piece is significant for us.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. I would like to thank everyone too. Again, Senator Steinmetz and Representative Williams, just huge shout out for their willingness to come and work through that with us. I thought it was a great evening, frankly. We had administrators, we had, board members, just like we had teachers and staff that spoke up. So I'm very, very appreciative. It actually was kind of fun to collaborate with everyone. So I really, really appreciate that. I did send the YouTube video to Representative Smith, so I'm hopeful that he got an opportunity to review that before needing to vote and all of the things. Have any of the board members had an opportunity to sit down with Representative Smith and speak with him about recalibration? Trustee Alexander, you have? Okay, great. Has anybody else had an opportunity? Okay. Did you before? Okay. Okay, just hoping that those conversations are occurring, and that we're able to keep those lines of communication open. So thank you all for that. Was that it with the superintendent's report? Okay, I didn't want to cut you off. Great. All right, on to old business. So our first item of old business is consider approval of tabled item, which is approval of the December 9, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. And I do apologize because I missed the January meeting and did go back and watch the YouTube, but I'm still a little unclear as to what we're doing with this. So if someone wants to either make a motion or catch me up to speed, that would be fantastic.
Madam Chair,
Yes, trustee Sharp.
I was the one that was pulled the minutes at last meeting, and I had a section in there at the point where we were approving the financial audit that there was some discussion at the December meeting, and I was wanting to add a line or two into the minutes to sort of signify what that discussion was in regards to. And I do have an option. I had provided you and the district with a couple of options of what I was thinking, and I'm be happy to read the options, make a motion, however you want to proceed.
And so trustee Sharp, can you remind us of where in the minutes this is going to be located?
Yes, let me see. Let me get to December. It would be, I didn't have that marked. It's in the December meeting minutes. Oh, where was it? No, it's in the November minutes.
Should be the December meeting
Well,
minutes.
I want to insert it in the December minutes, yeah. Page 9. No, it wouldn't be page 9. It's where we approve the financial audit.
Okay,
in the
during the work
minutes.
session, we approve following the work session,
It's
correct?
following the work session,
Okay.
yes. Okay, it's got to be following the consent agenda. It would probably be new business, I would imagine. Right here, new business acceptance of 2024-25 district financial audit. Would be page 15.
Okay, so we're all in page 15 under new business where it says consider acceptance of 24-25 district financial audit. Are we on the same page, trustee Sharp?
Yes, 15.
Okay, perfect.
Item number 12, item A. And what I was wanting to do is we had about a 12-minute discussion during that time, and I'd just like to have just as a sentence or two that indicates there was this discussion, that we are aware that there's a recommendation from the financial auditors, but that we are limited on what we can do. And just to be just for transparency's sake, so we are aware of what's going on. So what I was looking at adding or suggesting is a statement that says, based on the financial audit, Trustee Sharp addressed the recommendation related to internal controls which were suggested for safeguarding district resources. The administration highlighted that the district's small size limits its capacity to fully implement the recommended controls.
Okay,
And-
you want to put that in a formal
And I'd be happy to
motion?
put
so
that in
that-
form of motion.
Would you please?
Yes.
Trustee Steinbach, before we move on, did you have a question? Let's get a motion on the table and then move forward.
So,
Okay, go ahead, trustee Sharp.
Yep. Madam Chair, I move that we add a section for discussion under item 12, new business, number A, that states, based on the financial audit, Trustee Sharp addressed the recommendation related to internal controls which were suggested for safeguarding district resources. The administration highlighted that the district's small size limits its capacity to fully implement the recommended controls.
Okay, great. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion? Trustee Steinbach.
Yeah, in anticipation of this, I did a little bit of research and to try to find kind of what is best practice with taking minutes, because I find it to be a difficult task to know what to take down and what not to. And what I found was that the purpose of meeting minutes is to document actions and decisions. It's not to record dialogue. If we stick to that, it reduces our legal and institutional risks. It promotes more open and constructive dialogue. And I think it remains more accurate over time, our minutes do. And so to keep in alignment with accepted governmental standards and best practice, I think that we need to limit the amount of dialogue that is put in our minutes. We have the ability to go back and look at those if it ever comes up, but the fact that we made the decision to accept the auditor's report and move on, I think is enough information in the minutes going forward.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comments?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to draw two items to everyone's attention. If you look at page 9 in the narrative in regard to the board work session for the annual audit presentation, it specifically states in there that there was one material weakness identified, focusing on a lack of adequate segregation of duties and internal controls surrounding journal entries and audit adjustments. This weakness was also noted last year and is the result of the small size of the business office department. And that was based upon dialogue with the board as well as with Ms. Pickering from McGee, Hearn and Pies. I'd also like to share the fact that we did make a point in doing the wording of the agenda that it state acceptance and not approval, meaning that this board is simply accepting the audit document, but there is not any approval or disapproval of the document. So I just share that because as I listened to what Trustee Sharp stated and shared, a lot of her verbiage is listed in that narrative in regards to the work session.
Thank you, Ms. Cates. I appreciate that. Any further discussion or comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Trustee Sharp.
the main reason I'm doing this is because this is where I discussed this issue. And I purposely did not discuss it over in the financial audit itself. I wanted to leave that presentation where it was at, and I purposely did discuss it in the financial audit at the point of acceptance. And the main reason I do that is for transparency's sake. What we need to know is our public needs to know that we are aware of what's going on and that we are fully aware of it at the time that we vote, so that they trust us to be acting accordingly. And I do believe that this is important. It's not just a general dialogue. In this case, it's an important dialogue that could lead to major issues in the future if something was to go wrong. And they need to know that we are taking due diligence and we are taking good care of our obligations to safeguard the taxpayers' dollars. And so that's why I have put it there. And that's why I spoke about it at the point of acceptance of the audit.
Any further discussion or comments?
I guess I think that, if it makes a board member more comfortable to have it in there, we should allow it.
Any further discussion or comments? Trustee Chairs.
Trustee Sharp, I understand where you're coming from. My only concern would be where we draw the line from our minutes turning into a transcript versus the minutes that are just capturing those action items, because I do feel like that could become a slippery slope.
So Trustee Sharp, that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation multiple times. This isn't the first time it's come up. And for consistency, if you look at the remainder of the agenda, which by the way, no one has disputed, how everything else in the agenda appears or the minutes appear, it's consistent. It's the recommendation, who made the motion, who seconded it, and what was the vote, right? And so this particular one, I'm not quite sure why it's being pulled out or is special. We did have a work session where we discussed the weaknesses in the district. We discussed the audit. We discussed the recommendations. So I'm just with Trustee Chair's where do we draw the line? When do we add a transcription of the meeting? I mean, we have the YouTube meeting and I don't understand this transparency thing, frankly. We are being transparent. It is a public meeting where the public can interact. It's reported by the newspaper. Like we can't be any more transparent. It's also, this is not a new problem. This is a problem that we talked historically, you know, the district has had because of finances and so forth about hiring more people for the business office. So I'm just kind of struggling with what does the board want to do? Does the board want to continue with the practice that was adopted in the very beginning of the establishment of this board, or are we making an exception, and when do we make those exceptions? It's really hard, especially for Lorraine, to know what to take down and what not to take down. It's a pretty big task. So just kind of needing some more guidance on that as well, if the board is wanting to change our practice.
And I'm not asking the board to change their practice. I'm asking for an exception. There was a 12-minute discussion in this case. It wasn't a one or two comment, and we went through it in 30 seconds. It involved a 12-minute discussion. And so I felt like it was more significant than just a general pass through.
So what's the cutoff then, Trustee Sharp? Is it if anything's over a 10-minute conversation, if it's an
I
8-minute
don't think
conversation?
I don't think you can put a number on it. I think it's a matter of importance and a matter of I just felt like if it was a non-significant issue, then there wouldn't have been 12 minutes spent on it, 12 minutes of our time.
Okay. I guess that's difficult just from where we sit, because I feel like everything we do up here is important for the district.
Well,
So
it all
it's
is.
hard to determine like when we add it and when we don't. Either way, is
Yeah.
there any further discussion or comments before we take a vote? Okay, all those in favor of adding the proposed language that Trustee Sharp has read pertaining to the specifics surrounding the acceptance of the 24-25 district financial audit, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. I was looking to see if our fancy machine caught it, but I don't see that it. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, motion fails.
Your fault.
Oh,
'Cause,
okay, sorry.
yeah, you're good.
All right. Moving on to the next old business item, consider approval of proposed revisions to District Policy 3145, which is public solicitations in schools as presented on the second and final reading. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving proposed revisions to District Policy 3145 on the second and final reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of proposed revisions to District Policy 9351, which is the authorized signatures and check writing on the second and final reading. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second? Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of
I'm sorry,
approving?
Madam Chair.
Oh, sure, Trustee Goulart.
I couldn't recall, but so if I'm imagining something else, please correct me, but I thought there was a question about this the last time. I don't recall what it was, and I just wanted to know if that had been corrected or addressed to everyone's satisfaction. But I could not specifically recall what it was.
Madam Chair, I can answer that.
Yes, Trustee Sharp.
Yes, in policy committee, we did go over that and it was addressed, I believe, to my satisfaction anyway.
Do you remember what the question was?
It was, I wanted to retain the line that indicated who the overall responsibility for safekeeping of the facsimile signatures was. I felt that line should stay in there. So we amended it so that it was applicable to what we now do, because we don't use plates anymore. So it's highlighted in green on page 20. The last paragraph. And the last two sentences.
Trustee Goulart, does that satisfy your question? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the proposed revisions to District Policy 9351 on the second and final reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider approval of the request for renaming the Southeast football field. Mr. Kramer, do you want to give us a quick update on that before we entertain a motion?
Yes, you would have seen a board memo at your place that the renaming committee for the current football field in Yoder, presently named Teeters Memorial Field, met on Monday evening to review the submitted application requesting consideration of renaming the facility to Bullington Teeters Legacy Field. The committee reviewed all required materials and confirmed that each step outlined in the district's facility renaming process was properly completed by the applicant. After discussion, the committee proceeded to a formal vote on the proposed name change. The committee voted unanimously to recommend that the board trustees approve the application to rename the facility to Bullington Teeters Legacy Field.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Chairs.
Can you just remind me real quick on the process? If we approve this tonight, is it officially renamed or is there another step?
This will be the last step.
Just as a reminder, there was a petition that we met as a committee. We didn't
I knew that.
feel comfortable. We didn't feel comfortable with it. So we did another petition and now here we are.
Thank you.
The committee did actually quite a bit of work on it, going through it twice. So, and just so the public knows that the purpose in going through it twice was to really pay respect to the Teeters family, who the stadium was initially named after. So this was kind of a happy medium there to honor Mr. Bullington as well. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of renaming the Southeast football field to the Bullington Teeters Legacy Field, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Chair Mueller,
Yes.
I just want to make sure we don't move on by mistake. So I think the approval of the tabled items, the approval of the minutes, the motion failed to amend them, but I think we still need to approve the minutes from December.
That is an excellent point. Great catch. Great catch. All right. Well, I will entertain a motion then to just approve the December 9, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Good catch, Trustee Strampy. Okay. All those in favor of approving the December 9, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion
Oh, I
carries.
marked the wrong one.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Strampy. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items in the consent agenda that anyone would like to have pulled? Okay, without hearing anything, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Cates, I had one quick question. I know that one of the agenda items tonight is to approve the audit, but I also note in the monthly board report, or the detailed monthly board report on page 37, there is a charge for $42,000. Is that for the audit that's already been performed, or is this like a down payment, or what is this?
That's incremental billing for last year's audit.
For last year's. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any further discussion or questions? Sorry, Ms. Cates, one more question. Usually we work these questions out, but it's been kind of a crazy last week. On page 69, I noticed under the BOCES, January of 25 is 152,000 and some change, and in January of this year is 107,000. Why the difference? Page 69, if that helps.
The BOCES fund is one of those that we are going to see some change in based upon the reduction in property tax revenue. The BOCES fund last year, we did see an increase in dual enrollment of students based on offering the CDL program for those students that were 18 years of age or greater. So when we look at January 25 versus January 26, January 26 had last spring 25. With that added cost, that CDL offering is rather spendy for each of those students that we offer that for.
So Ms. Cates, is it fair to assume then that the rec fund is also down by $83,000 as a result of a decrease in the property tax?
Yes, yes.
What about the general fund? There's a difference of almost $300,000.
The general fund is going to be more reflective in our decrease in students.
Okay.
The other thing that the general fund is going to see are those transfers that the general fund is absorbing. The budget last year had a transfer from general fund to BOCES for sustaining the dual and concurrent offerings. I'm going to be requesting an additional amendment because we're going to need probably an additional 100,000 to sustain the BOCES offerings for this year.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to new business. We're considering the approval of offering teaching contracts for the 26-27 school year. The recommendation is that we approve teaching contracts to McKenna Label at TMS 6th grade science, Rebecca Shandy for TMS English, Jamie White at THS LFL Ag Education, and Emma Daly. Is that how you say your name? Okay. At Southeast Agricultural Education. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
I just have one question.
Trustee Steinbach.
So I was reading through the letters of recommendation, and I just have a question on the process. So, and the reason why is because all of them said that they were recommending that we hire these people, and the fourth one said that it had been extended, the job had been extended, the offer had been extended. So I'm just wondering, is that true? Like, are they already extended the offer before we vote on them, or is that process done here?
It's a great question. So what occurs is that the principal will talk with the applicant, let them know they are offering them the position conditionally dependent on the board approving of the contract. Thank you for the question.
These are also pending certification, correct?
Correct.
Any other questions, comments? I'm glad we're filling those positions. It's great. All right, all those in favor of approving the contracts as listed, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the approval of contracting for professional development services. This is with Strategic Solutions Consulting LLC for professional development. Did I miss one? I missed one. Sorry. Let's back up to B. This is for the approval of the new district high school courses for 26-27 school year. So approve adopting the following new courses for high school credit starting in 26-27 school year. So we've got automotive, basic electrical, interior textiles and fashion design, work-based learning to replace career readiness training, and integrated mathematics 1 through 3 if needed in the future. Okay, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Steinbach, anything to add with these courses, or Mr. Derby?
So the first three, or the first two courses, the automotive basic electrical and then the interior textile and fashion design, are both 2 CTE courses. Mr. Anaya felt very strongly that we have like, I guess as automotive technology, especially around electrical, has I guess, increased, that some of the kids that he currently has in his auto program need a more foundational class, and they're just not ready for some of the requirements that they need to have. So that was the reason why he came to me, and that class was proposed. Miss Doring, she's our foods and consumer science teacher over at the high school. She felt that the interior textile and fashion design would be a good elective course to offer. And then the third one down there, the work-based learning, I think here in the district, but also I think along throughout the state, we've shifted just the naming of that to more work-based learning. So essentially that's a name change with a ever slight change in like how that course looks as far as like credits go, essentially. So like from the time kids leave and then get to a work site and actually do anything, like within like one period, we essentially are just adjusting the time a little bit so that they can actually put in a substantial amount of time at the workplace. And then the one that's just kind of weird is the integrated mathematics. The State Board of Education, as well as WDE, has had conversations around potentially going to only having one math test at the high school as opposed to two. That math test would ultimately end up being in their 10th grade year. Right now, 9th grade is predominantly an algebra test. 10th grade is predominantly a geometry test. Obviously, if they were to go to one test, that would speak to you're going to test all of the different math domains at one time, not like just geometry, because then we would have no test on algebra, so to speak. So essentially, what I'm requesting here is that we at least put these courses, have them available. So and usually the state gives you like a year or two, but at least that way we could start working with our math teachers to design the standards and what we want these courses to look like, as opposed to being a huge hurry of trying to get courses approved and like between now and next, a fall, get everything lined out as far as curricular things, standards, all of that stuff. This just basically gives us a heads up if the state were to move in that direction. One other thing too, just kind of to Trustee Steinbach's points earlier, all of these courses do, well, with the exception of the last three, those three would not be offered for the fall. But the first three courses essentially get put into the course catalog. Students have the opportunity to choose these courses, which then ultimately drives the master schedule. So if there are only 2 kids that wanted one of these courses, it may not be on the books, kind of like the officiating class, for example. Like if students don't sign up for it, we're not going to, offer classes to empty rooms. But essentially these would be available for students to choose from in the fall once they're approved tonight. So if you so approve. So
Great, thank you. I appreciate that committee looking ahead.
I just have one question about that math. So is it, that's just basically an option based on what you think the state test is going to be? I mean, what's the difference between this and?
that's a great question. So right now our math sequence is algebra, geometry, algebra 2. We did some looking. The committee asked me to look between the first session and then the second session of who else does do integrated math. Like some districts, only one in this state actually use it currently. And they actually, I guess 2 did. One of them had relatively good math results. The other one did not, because there was some discussion around, should we just look at moving to this regardless of whether the state does? And that is an option. So to answer your question specifically, integrated math would take, it's kind of almost like an extension of 8th grade math, but just at higher levels up into high school. So it would include things around algebra, things around geometry, statistics and probability. I know there's another math domain I'm forgetting, functions, different things like that. So it would just be a progression of multiple domains of math as opposed to more like specific domains like just geometry, just algebra, that kind of thing. Does that kind of help answer your question?
And well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
One thing that was mentioned during our meeting that I think is important to note is that you get 1 year of geometry in 10th grade, but then when you go and you take the ACT or you take other state-based tests, a lot of students don't test well in geometry because they had 1 year and it's gone. You know, that's gone. Whereas you're working on your algebra the whole time, almost the whole time, except for that 10th grade year. And so they're testing better in the algebra and not in the geometry. And so if it's integrated, they're getting a little bit of it each time. So it's sticking in there a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just, we visited with our math teachers about this a few different times. Obviously, it came up in committee. I don't know that our math teachers are quite ready to jump yet. I think they kind of want to, their consensus is wait and see what the state does, but it's certainly a good discussion. And like I said, I just in the brief conversations I've had with people, they think it could be a year or two before this happens, but at least we would have the ability to move quickly if in fact that does come, is just kind of what I'm looking at.
Mr. Derby, the automotive and the interior textiles and fashion, is that going to be available at all the high schools?
That would primarily be available just at THS, but it's available to all high school students in the sense of if courses are not offered at Lingle or Southeast and the kids do want to take those, we have made arrangements in the past where kids from Lingle or Southeast can come into THS to take those classes. So.
I have a question about the math, going back to the math. Out of curiosity, what does it look like on a transcript when they, like, is it going to say math 1, math 2?
Yeah, just mathematics 1, mathematics 2, mathematics 3.
That's kind of interesting for like college, you know.
How it transfers over.
Yeah.
To English 1, English 2, you know, English is our unique one where we go by the numbers, you know, and in some high schools, they have gone with social studies and science the same way. Social studies 9, social studies 10, I mean, rather than giving them content, it's more centered around the standards to more match what those levels are as opposed to course specific. It's high school is that middle ground between middle school where we have it in the grade levels and college where we have the fancy names describing the coursework. So
Students would still be able to get to that level of, if they wanted to take college algebra in high school, they would still be able to do that. You know, just like advanced math and things like that. The other thing is that Mr. Van Tilburg brought in some information. They do this a lot in Nebraska schools, and he felt like it was a successful way of teaching math. So, but we only had 2 districts to look at. And like Mr. Derby said, so we didn't have a lot of statistics to really, or data to really, you know, make a determination on whether to actually move to it right away. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the new district high school courses for the 26-27 school year, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of contracting for professional development services. This is with Strategic Solutions Consulting LLC for professional development services for the district administrative team on May 28, 2026 and November 2 through the 3rd of 2026 in the amount of $12,000. This comes from the Title II funds. May I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just had one question. Is that intended for just administrators? Are facilitators being considered for that? Lead teachers? I don't know. I'm just wondering who all would be able to take advantage of that.
Good question. Thank you. Primarily, we're looking at principals and directors for this, and directors like Marcy, transportation director, Holly. Essentially, his message is he was a building principal and then assistant superintendent, and basically his message is really around leveraging people that you work with in a collaborative way to get the most out of that, but also probably prolong your career. Just because the book that he wrote is, I can't remember the exact title right now. But it's like something about something in balance. Don't quote me the exact title, but really powerful message. And he's done a lot of research since he's left like public education, but he's still obviously consultant and then works for the University of Arkansas. And just, I think, a really good, powerful message about not, I think that helps along the lines of like retention and not getting burned out, and but also leaning into the strengths and working with your staff. So probably most appropriate for principals and directors.
Book title is Finding Your Balance.
Thank you.
You're
Knew I
close.
had balance.
You're close. So, Mr. Derby, if I understand it right, the first meeting is to set goals and priorities for the school year, and then the November meeting is a follow-up session to provide like individual administrative coaching.
Yeah, I essentially wanted the timing of this too, and we've talked as an admin team, the timing of this is such where the staff and students are already out of the building, because I wanted them to be like, okay, really concentrate on what he's saying and try to do these things. So that's why that's literally after the last day that our staff is still here. And then those days, I wanted them to kind of think about, hey, what would be something that we can do to set a goal, and then have some follow up, and then with some individual coaching on the back end. So that's why there's the 2 days in the fall. Yeah.
Is this something that the admin team asked for or was in favor of or wanting?
This honestly came out of the curriculum directors conference. Like, he was a keynote speaker up at and I guess the Principals Association and SPED directors are all involved with that as well. And honestly, probably would have been a session that I would not have gone to had it not been the keynote. Ironically, I was having a conversation with Mr. Kramer probably a week or so before I'd gone to this. And then after I got to hear him, I was pretty fired up about it. Talked to Mr. Gilchrist on the way back. Talked to Mr. Kramer and Miss Lara when I got back as well. And we thought that this would be something that we would like to present to the admin team. And I think they've embraced it fairly favorably, that they think that this would be good to hear and good to kind of hear what he has to say and try to do some things with. So
Great, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of contracting for professional development services with Strategic Solutions Consulting LLC, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of proposed revisions to District Policy 4142, which is salary deductions, as presented on introduction and first reading. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Trustee Sharp, would you like to give us just a little excerpt on this, since this is a new one?
Oh, well, I hadn't planned on it, but I can.
Well, and I don't mean to put you on the spot
No.
if you don't, I didn't
It's
know
okay.
if you'd had or not.
It was brought over by Holly. And I'll be honest, I can't remember all that much about it. They're going to renumber it, and it was set into two different, I think it was classified, and was it classified, non-classified? And we're going to actually roll it all into one policy, I believe, instead of having it in two different places, because we have a section in our policies that actually have things that are for both groupings.
Okay.
So that's going to simplify some things for us.
And then it looks like we're retitling it payroll deductions.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And because it used to be titled, yeah, a little differently. And then you can see all the green that's been changed, picking out a few lines and then making adjustments as to for the classified, the non-classified, and just a few other things.
Okay, great. Thank you. Trustee Chairs, did you want to add something?
Yeah, just quickly,
Yeah.
and it partially it was adopted in 1987. So it was updating that language to the language that we currently use.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of revising District Policy 4142, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 1987, I think Mr. Gilchrist said he was in kindergarten in 1978, the last work session, right? I held on to that. That's the year I was born. Next is the approval of purchase of cabinetry for Torrington High School per District Policy 3420, which is purchasing guidelines. This is to approve the cabinetry for THS from EECS Office Solutions in the amount of $11,353.50. May I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a quick question. Is there a schedule? I feel like we approve cabinetry very often.
Frequently?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Casey.
trustee, chairs, this is, the last, installment, if you will. THS, did not have cabinetry in their classrooms. And so we have, done about, 3 to 4 classrooms a year. And this will be the last, classroom to get cabinetry. It's a Han product, so we had been purchasing it from Torrington office. And EECS has been able to the last 2 years to provide it to us at the same price as what we were getting it from Torrington office.
Great.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of purchasing the cabinetry for THS per district policy 3420, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of purchase of weight room equipment for Southeast High School per district policy 3420. This is new weight room equipment from PMX Pro Maxima in the amount of $24,734.32. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I can personally attest to how old the weight equipment was in that weight room, or is in that weight room, some of which is held together by duct tape. I'm not kidding. So I'm glad to see this proposal. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the purchase of weight room equipment for Southeast High School per district policy 3420, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. McSpadden will be thrilled. Next is to consider the approval of purchase of replacement laptop computers per district policy 3420, which is the purchasing guidelines. This is the approval of the purchase of 53 replacement computers for district staff from Dell Technologies in the total amount of $82,331.55. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No one's got questions for Mike? Okay. All those in favor of approving the purchase of replacement laptop computers per district policy 3420, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to approve the contracting for Meraki network licensing per district policy 3420. This is more info from Mike. Do you have more info, Mike? Okay, it's in there now? Okay. Lorraine saved you, Mike. It's to approve contracting with 954 consultants for the district 5-year Cisco Meraki license and support in the total amount of $141,228.11, with the district 20% share of $28,257.62 being paid from general fund technology and the balance of the agreement paid by E-rate. Was that all right, Mike? Perfect. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? Questions? No?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Cates.
I have a couple things I think are important with this particular item.
Okay.
The 28,257.62 that would be the general fund technology portion that pays for licensing for 5 years. So it would be a prepaid. The other item to note is that payment won't be made until the licensing is due, which will be approximately October, correct, Mike, of 2026. So per E-rate, we're required to bring this before the board now, but payment won't be made for until next fiscal year.
Great, thank you.
Marcy, this is probably a dumb question and maybe I should already know this. What is E-rate?
It's a federal program that helps fund broadband services and connections for schools and libraries.
Great question. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of contracting for Meraki network licensing, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of contracting with Home and Lawn Services LLC, Stoger Lawn Care for 2026 District Turf Management. This is in the amount of $62,370.57. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Ms. Cates, I kind of have a dumb question and more or less just to kind of educate myself. When do we ask for an RFP for, or an RFQ for professional services? And is there a policy in the district?
That's a very good question. And I did have that asked earlier today, and I appreciate that. With professional services, what we've done is we've looked at when the last RFP was issued, what the response was to that, and if there are others able to bid it, and then looked at whether pricing has changed historically. And this is one of those where we did issue an RFP. I believe it's been 4 years ago. He identifies which years he's provided services for the district. At the point in time we issued an RFP, the other party that responded was not responsive. That means that their qualifications were not what we requested, so their bid was not able to be considered. Because this party has kept their pricing very static and provided a very quality service, we have not issued an RFP.
Thank you. Looks like Mr. Stoger's been providing this service since 2021.
This is the service where an individual could come in and simply apply fertilizer and weed killer. And what we're finding with the service that we're receiving is that he is very aware of making sure that our grounds are looking good. And there's a lot of time that he's doing spot spraying and or additional spraying, and we aren't being charged for that. So I've been told that he has used our sites as a reference for other customers, which is really pretty cool.
Yes. Any further discussion? All those in favor of contracting with Home and Lawn Services LLC, Stoger Lawn Care for the 2026 District Turf Management, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of contracting for the 2026 District Tree Spraying. And this will be with Long's Tree Spraying LLC in the amount of $17,004. Is there a motion? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of contracting for 2026 District Tree Spraying with Long's Tree Spraying LLC, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of contracting for 2026 district gym floor screening and refinishing projects. This is excluding Trail and LaGrange. It's contracting with JJ Pratt Enterprises LLC for screening and refinishing the gym floors at THS, TMS, LFL Middle School, LFL High School, Southeast Elementary School, and Southeast High School in the amount of $19,400. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, is there a reason why it's general fund and not the typical building fund?
Ms. Cates?
Our options here are general fund or major maintenance. Major maintenance does not allow for those regular reoccurring charges. Major maintenance are for those items that have exceeded their useful life. But these items that we've done here, which are reoccurring, the weed spraying, the tree spraying, the gym floor screening, and then the later we'll come forward with a contract for Longs, which is an annual maintenance agreement. Those are not major maintenance eligible.
Any further discussion or questions?
I just have one question, and I realize why we're not doing Trail and LaGrange, but so is this something we have to do every year? Is it?
Madam Chair, Trustee Steinbach, we do screen and refinish every year. The screening and refinishing keeps our floors live and active and is important for the athletic integrity of the floors. The sanding and refinishing is what's being recommended for trail. And that's what we do when they get out there into a 15 to 20 year. The finishing kind of gets dull and dingy, and it's time to get all of that finish off and start over fresh.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of contracting for 2026 district gym floor screening and refinishing projects with JJ Pratt Enterprises, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the approval of contracting for 2026 gym floor sanding and refinishing at Trail Elementary. This is with JJ Pratt Enterprises LLC in the amount of $24,573. May I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay,
Madam Chair.
yes.
To Trustee Goulart's question, this one is major maintenance because it's not an annual item, and that's allowed to be funded out of that fund.
Any further questions or discussion? Okay. All those in favor of contracting for the 26 gym floor sanding and refinishing at Trail Elementary with JJ Pratt Enterprises LLC, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is consider the proposed extension for district audit services. This is a 3-year extension proposal for the district financial audit services with McGee, Hearn and Pies in the amounts of $76,500, $77,500, and $81,000 as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So Ms. Cates, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but here we are. Why do we not put this one out for an RFP or RFQ? Nothing against this firm. They've done a great job by the district. But given the concerns that Trustee Sharp had mentioned, I wonder if it would be beneficial to the district to open that up.
Madam Chair, members of the board, the concerns of Trustee Sharp are part of the reason why I'm really not in favor of an RFP, in that this is an audit for the board. We get an amazing audit. This is very difficult for me because it is costly, but this is one of those situations where you get what you pay for. And as I talk to other business managers throughout the district, they are paying substantially less for their audit, but they are not getting near the time and the attention to detail that we are getting. McGee, Hearn and Pies has been doing this. I was looking here since 2005. They're aware of the district. Some people may see that as needing a fresh face, but I do caution you in that they choose to do a lot of their work on site, but they will spend on site up to 3 weeks. And then they will go off site and spend an additional 2 to 3 weeks with a staff of 3 to 4 people. And what I hear other districts paying for, they're getting maybe 1 to 2 weeks of attention, and they're not looking at near the sample size of what McGee, Hearn and Pies is looking at, and the just their level and the oversight that McGee, Hearn, and Pies has from their other entities is pretty incredible. So this is one of those things where I really think you're getting what you're paying for.
Madam Chair,
Yes, trustee Sharp.
I just want to make sure and clarify, I have no issues with this company at all. I just wanted to make sure everyone realizes that. I think they've done a tremendous job. Their reports are very thorough. And that's why they do pick up occasional things and it's very, they need to pick up something because I'm sorry, nobody does it perfect. We try to, but nobody does it. And so I just want to know that I do have faith in this company.
Great. Any further discussion?
This is like a private company. Is there anything around their state mandated audit type? If we're doing this, that shows to this company.
We're required to do it.
That's
What we have to do.
That's a great question, Trustee Hager. We are required per state statute to have this audit performed, and I have to submit it to several different entities, including county clerk as well as Department of Audit and Department of Education. They require the audit. Department of Audit, they choose, and based upon their staffing, and a lot of it could depend upon how their bill. They have a bill in the legislature right now that could change things. But Department of Audit is required about every 5 years to come in and do a full scale audit. And what they're auditing is the funding model and the revenue that the district has received. They also do what they call blitz audits. And I believe that we had the lunch fund, lunch applications, that there was a very small dollar amount that had to be returned based upon documentation. The other blitz audit that they're presently doing, of which Madam Chair, as the board chair, received confirmation of, they're in the process of working through a special ed placement audit. So they're auditing what the district has received based upon special ed funds for out of district placement students. But this, they do require, long story to a short question, they do require a CPA audit.
The answer is yes. Marcy, isn't it true as well that, I mean, yes, this seems like a lot of money up front, but this is our safeguard that's in place, correct? I mean, given the way that our business office is set up and, you know, historically we've tried to fill positions, and then honestly, the previous boards had made the priority that we wanted to spend money on teaching and contact directly with kids and so forth, instead of putting more individuals in central, correct? And so that's kind of how we got here.
And that's exactly right.
Okay.
And initially it wasn't this much, but
Sure.
this is inflation and the fact that it is the kind of the one expenditure that this board does get the benefit of, if you will.
Sure.
I think it is important that there be a comfort level, whatever that may be, with who's providing those audit services.
Great. Any further discussion?
I have one more question.
That's a good question. We don't pay Department of Audit. They're funded as a separate agency.
I thought the answer was going to go totally opposite of that, so that's good. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor of, we're accepting, correct, Marcy, the 3-year extension proposal?
What I heard in the motion was so moved, but this intentionally is a consider and discuss, because of it being your audit. It's important that the motion be either acceptance or disapproval of.
Especially because I've been
extension.
asked to sign on the 3-year extension. So maybe we need to clean that up.
So the motion needs to be amended to, I move to
To-
approve the 3-year extension with McGee, Hearn and Pies.
Correct, on behalf of the board. Yep.
If the original second.
Yes.
Second.
Thank you. Just want to make sure we're clear. All right. So all those in favor of accepting the 3-year extension with McGee, Hearn, and Pies on behalf of the board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Right.
Madam Chair,
Yes, trustee Sharp.
we said accepting. Was it supposed to be approving?
Well,
I don't know if it makes a difference.
I
It's
think
up to
it's
you.
the same.
That's fine, as long as it doesn't make a
Just to be
difference.
clear, everybody understood that you just authorized me to sign the 3-year extension, correct?
Okay,
Does that make sense? Okay. Any need to go back and revise the motion?
not for me, but I just want to make sure for you.
All right, board topics. Anybody got anything they want to talk about?
Madam Chair, I have one topic
Okay.
that I'd like to mention. I know everyone or the trustees received the Wyoming School Board Association upcoming events in their emails. And there's several great opportunities there if you have an opportunity, if you have a chance. But I wanted to let everyone know, I did contact the WSBA. Because I wanted to know, can we jump in on the board chair workshops and the things that are indicated for the board chair? Not that I'm going to, I don't have that kind of time, but I wanted to let everyone know that it is not, it can be jumped in on by anybody. It's for all trustees. So if you have that hankering and you have nothing else to do, you're free to join any of them.
In fact, on Saturday, I took a 4.5-hour board chair training and there were tons of school board members that were not chairs.
So I just wanted people to know, because I wasn't sure and I thought, I'm gonna ask. So.
I know this has been mentioned before, but I do want to say thank you for putting together the meeting with the representative and Senator Steinmetz and Representative Williams. I think that was an excellent opportunity for this board to not only learn more about the process of recalibration, but what the consequences are if we don't get involved in the process. And I think that it was an excellent meeting and I think it went really well. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, trustee Steinbach. I would echo that as well. And very, very grateful for the significant amount of time that Mr. Kramer and Ms. Cates put into that meeting. It's nice just to have those conversations in public and kind of know where everybody's at. So I appreciate that as well. Any other topics anybody wants to discuss? Okay, so don't get mad at me, but whenever we have these board chair trainings, they come up with all kinds of great ideas and additional things we can do as the board, okay? And so if there's like the temperature is cold as ice on this, then I'll drop it and move on. But one of the things that a couple of other districts do is called building liaisons. And so what they do is each board member is assigned to a building within the district. And so at our monthly meetings, say for instance, trustee Steinbach would speak with principal, yes, Flershinger. And so we draw it out of a hat, right? And so you speak with Mr. Flershinger that month, like it can be a 5-minute conversation, it can be a 30-minute conversation. You can go to the building, you don't have to go to the building, whatever, but Mr. Flershinger can tell you like all the cool things that they're doing in his building and all the cool things that they've got to look forward to or what have you. Just what literally it can be whatever you want. But that way, you know, because we're not the traveling circus anymore for right now, right? We're not going to all these other buildings, but we still kind of want to have that communication and kind of know what's going on in the district. We sit up here and we go through our agenda and conduct business, but it still would be nice to have that communication. So I don't know what the temperature is on that. I'm just locking in on trustee Steinbach because she's shaking her head, but I don't know if anybody is interested in doing that or not. We would do it just kind of a lottery, just we'll pick names and assignments. We can switch every month. You can continue with the same school every month, however we want to do it, but maybe just to open those lines of communication a little bit.
Madam Chair?
Yes, trustee Sharp.
I, of course, I'm interested. I think I would have a preference to at least stay with the same building for 2 or 3 months,
Okay.
because I think a one time would not get me what I would need to create a relationship and a dialogue.
And just so the administrators know, like, don't freak out. This is not like an investigation or anything
No.
like that. This is just like, hey, what's some cool stuff that you're doing, you know, around your buildings and so forth.
I seen a great thing on Facebook the other day. Mr. Van Tilburg had a picture of him where they were dressing like the staff and the student trade day. And he had this sign behind him and they're standing in front of it. And it's like, I want to see the rest of that sign. It looked awesome.
He
But
does
of
some
course-
cool stuff.
I can't see it. And it's things we don't know about
Sure,
that I would love to be able to see that because it really looked impressive.
sure.
So
Is anybody just like, I don't have time, this isn't gonna work, not interested? Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a visit.
Cool. Okay, so Mr. Kramer, trustee chairs and I will draw names out of a hat and buildings, and I'll send you an email letting you know who you've been assigned to. And is it okay to give phone numbers, or how do you guys want them to contact you? Phone? Okay, awesome. I know, I love this. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I feel like there was a whole list, but my brain is tired. Anything else, trustee chairs, that we've? Okay, we're gonna still keep working towards this recalibration stuff. If you have questions, I highly encourage you to contact Mercy and Mr. Kramer. They are just a knowledge, you know, tons of wealth of knowledge there. Keep watching the legislature to see what's happening there. Other than that, any other topics anybody wants to discuss?
Madam Chair, just in
Yeah.
case everybody didn't notice it in their email, they did get, I can't remember what the name of that email is. It's Fidel, or I don't know what it is. ENFA something. It comes from the Wyoming School Board Association.
What is?
And it's an update on your legislative stuff, but they do have a really nice printout that keeps you updated on where the bills are.
Great. Thank you. Last plug, February 17th at 9:30, Governor Gordon is recognizing school boards for School Board Appreciation. It's kind of a hard time. It's like on a Tuesday at 9:30, but if anybody wants to head down to Cheyenne, let me know. Other than that,
Madam Chair,
yes,
if anybody gripes about going to LaGrange, I'll go.
nobody gripes about
I
going
like
to
it.
LaGrange.
I was gonna request.
Trustee Goulart, especially,
Treats, you know, Mr. Daly's gonna have treats probably.
another
I'm
fun
going
thing
for the
that
art
some of
class.
these board
Forget
chairs
it.
mentioned, and I thought of Mr. Gilchrist, is they make just fun, lively, light wagers with each other, and then whoever wins, like if I lost, I'd have to wear like Doggers gear, or if Mr. Gilchrist lost, he'd have to wear Cyclones gear, you'd have to wear Nebraska gear, right? Like just stuff like that. It would be fun. So maybe something just to kind of keep in mind. And it had to do with like fitness, you know, challenges and walking challenges, just silly little things. But anyway, just to kind of keep it light. All right, future meetings. The annual WSBA Legislative Forum will be Sunday, February 22nd from 2 to 4 at the Cheyenne Little America. If you're interested in doing that, please let Lorene know. Is that who you need to know? Because registration is required, pre-registration is required.
Madam
Um,
Chair,
Yes,
do we have a deadline on that registration?
when does it have to?
Is it in our packet? Right. At least 2 days before? A few,
So that's on this Sunday.
Deadline.
because
Yeah,
I'm just, with weather, it's like, I'm not signing up in a blizzard.
we aren't having weather.
We're not, but I expect it. Well, no, thank you.
Right?
I know.
Mr. Kramer will send out an email with a deadline to let you know about pre-registration. Okay. All right. And then the next regular school board meeting will be Tuesday, March 10th at 6 p.m. here at Central. With that, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.